Imagine a king so desperate for forgiveness. He walked barefoot in the snow, dressed like a beggar, and waited 3 days in the freezing cold, just to be let inside a castle. This wasn't some forgotten peasant. This was the Holy Roman Emperor, Henry IV of Germany, and his life is one of the most bizarre sagas of humiliation, rebellion, and sheer obsession with power in medieval history. Henry became king at just 6 years old, and right away, chaos surrounded him. His mother, Agnes of Poitou, acted as regent, but nobles ignored her, carving up power for themselves. From the start, Henry learned one thing: trust no one. By the time he came of age, he had one goal: control, total control. Henry wanted power not just over nobles, but also over the church. At the time, bishops weren't just religious leaders. They controlled vast lands and armies. Henry insisted he should appoint bishops himself, but Pope Gregory VII said, "Only I can do that." The feud exploded into the investiture controversy, one of the weirdest church versus state wars in history. Henry insulted the Pope, calling him a false monk. Gregory responded by excommunicating him, cutting him off from the church. And here's the bizarre part. When you're excommunicated, your subjects don't technically have to obey you anymore. Nobles began to turn on Henry. Suddenly, the mighty emperor was just a man without God's blessing. To save his throne, Henry had to beg. In the winter of 1077, Henry traveled across the Alps, through snow and blizzards, to meet the Pope at the fortress of Canossa in Italy. But the Pope didn't just forgive him. No. Gregory VII made him stand barefoot in the snow, wearing a hair shirt like a penitent criminal. Henry waited 3 full days outside the castle gates. Finally, the Pope lifted the excommunication. But the damage was done. The image of the emperor, shivering and humiliated in the snow, would haunt his reign forever. Did Henry learn humility? Absolutely not. As soon as he regained strength, he turned on the Pope again. He appointed his own anti-Pope, Clement III, and marched an army into Rome. For a brief moment, Henry IV actually crowned himself emperor under his fake Pope. The church and empire descended into chaos, 2 popes, endless excommunications, and a Europe watching in disbelief. But Henry's strangest downfall came not from the Pope, but from his own blood. His son, Conrad, rebelled against him first. Then his younger son, Henry V, betrayed him too. In a cruel twist, Henry V captured his father, forced him to abdicate, and threw him into prison. Imagine, the once mighty emperor, now a prisoner of his own son. Henry IV managed to escape, but his power was gone. Excommunicated yet again, abandoned by nobles, betrayed by family, he died in 1106, hated by the Pope, disgraced by the church, and rejected by the empire he once ruled. Even in death, the church refused him burial in consecrated ground. The emperor who had crawled in the snow was denied rest. Henry IV's life is a bizarre medieval tragedy. A boy king turned emperor, crawling barefoot in the snow, fighting popes, crowning fake popes, and finally betrayed by his own son. He proved that even the most powerful rulers can end up humiliated, begging at castle gates. A reminder that in the Middle Ages, kings weren't untouchable. Sometimes, they were the strangest figures of all.